Hello, and welcome back to another episode of At the Feet of Jesus. We've decided to do another part in this part. We're going to do part 7 and part 8 because the one of them is a little bit shorter, and we've decided we're going to just put them both together, make it easier. So let's go ahead and pray. Dear Father, we come before you just saying thank you for all that you do. Please lead us tonight to where you would have us to go. Let us find the right, let us be in the right mindset as we read your words. Let us have wisdom and knowledge, and give us wisdom and knowledge. And just let us have willing hearts as you speak to us through your word tonight. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Let me go ahead and apologize right away because there's a lot of jumping around tonight. Part of why we're doing this part is because it does go back and forth. So we're going to start with 4 verses from Genesis 25 and then move somewhere else. Abraham had taken another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimron, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan was the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Asherites, the Letushites, and the Lumites. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abidah, and Eldah. All these were descendants of Keturah. And now we're moving to 1 Chronicles 1, 32-33. The sons born to Keturah, Abraham's concubine: Zimron, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. The sons of Jokshan, Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Midian, Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abidah, and Eldah. All these were descendants of Keturah. Now back to Genesis 25. Abraham left everything he owned to Isaac. But while he was still living, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them away from his son Isaac to the land of the east. Abraham lived 175 years. Then Abraham breathed his last and died at a good old age, an old man and full of years. And he was gathered to his people. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah near Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite. I thought that he sent Ishmael away.
Hold on, read that again.
His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah near Mamre. I just thought that they had sent.
Oh, yeah. I'm not too sure.
I mean, just because he's sent away, he's an adult. At this point, actually, Ishmael's in his 70s or 80s even. So I guess, he could have come back. He's heard his father has died and he travels to...
Yeah, he could have done that too.
In the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, the field Abraham had bought from the Hittites. There Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac, who then lived near Beer Lahai Roi. This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Ishmael, whom Sarah's slave Hagar the Egyptian bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, listed in the order of their birth: Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael; Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Dumah, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Nephish, and Kedemah. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these were the names of the 12 tribal rulers according to their settlements and camps. Was there 12? Nebaioth, Kedar, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's usually there were 12 Ishmaelite tribes as well.
Yeah, they were actually. I never knew that either.
Yeah. Ishmael lived 137 years. He breathed his last and died, and he was gathered to his people. His descendants settled in the area from Havilah to Shur, near the eastern border of Egypt as you go toward Asher. And they lived in hostility toward all the tribes related to them.
This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Isaac. Abraham became the father of Isaac when Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel the Aramean from Paddan Aram and sister of Laban the Aramean. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was childless. The Lord answered his prayer and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. The babies jostled each other within her, and she said, "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of the Lord. The Lord said to her, "2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. 1 people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb.
That's interesting. I've always kind of wondered why, because it seems like Rebecca is deceiving or working in a deception against Isaac when she's trying to ensure that Jacob is going to be the heir and not Esau. But so there's a fighting going on in her womb, and so she goes to the Lord and asks, like, what is going on? And he says to her, "The older will serve the younger." And
so I wonder if that's why it said Jacob. It said Isaac. Didn't Isaac love Esau and then Rebecca love Jacob? Yeah, does that...
Well, and it makes sense because, to Isaac, Esau is his firstborn. Esau is who his heir is. It's going to be his legacy, or he's going to be his legacy. And yet Rebecca has heard from the Lord that between Jacob and Esau, Jacob is the one who's going to rule between the 2 of them.
Right.
And so since she's heard that from the Lord, it's right for her to then do what is necessary to... Or is it not right for her to do what's necessary because she should have trusted God that even without her intervention, the Lord said it was going to happen, so it's going to happen. You don't need to help the Lord along in that. Kind of like how Abraham kept trying to help God along with the Hagar situation.
Try to assist the Lord when it comes to different things. And I never actually noticed that. Was it 24? When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment, so they named him Esau. After this, his brother came out, with his hand grasping Esau's heel, so he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them.
All right.
And is that the end of our...
Not quite. We're going to go to 1 Chronicles for a few things. So 1 Chronicles 1:28-31. The sons of Abraham, Isaac and Ishmael. These were their descendants: Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael, Kedar, Abdil, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Nephish, and Kedemah. These were the sons of Ishmael. And then we're going to jump ahead to 1 Chronicles 34. Abraham was the father of Isaac, the sons of Isaac, Esau, and Israel. And that's it for that day. That's why we're doing 2, because that was 9 minutes, and that would have been fine, but not very much of an episode. So now we're going to go ahead and finish up Genesis 25, and then we're going to do 26, 27, and a little bit of 28, which is a more reasonable day in the plan.
Yes. All right. The boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home among the tents. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Once when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country, famished. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." That is why he was also called Edom. Jacob replied...
1 second.
Here.
I'm curious, because a lot of times it says, like, what? Okay, so Edom means red.
Red,
okay,
yeah.
All right.
And Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." "Look, I am about to die," Esau said. "What good is the birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank and then got up and left, so Esau despised his birthright.
You know, I mean, if that lentil stew is like your lentils, I don't quite get it, but I kind of get it. I mean, but you know, he's giving up his birthright for stew, for a meal.
Yeah, that's...
But I've always thought, you know, that's such a ridiculous thing to do. Like, how could Esau think that's a good plan? But there's something that I've never really, and I'm curious if this is true in other versions. This 25:32. Look, I am about to die. It says he comes in famished. But let's see what it says in other ones. Behold, I'm at the point to die. Behold, I'm about to die. I'm about to die. I'm about to die. I'm about to die. Yeah, okay. So that seems like I'm dying of starvation. That looks like a pretty universally accepted that he is saying I'm about to die. But I wonder, and he says, "What good is the birthright to me?" I wonder if this is like what we will say, "Oh, I'm starving to death," when we just haven't eaten in 4 hours and we're not going to die. Or if he truly was, you know, he came from the open country, it could be that he went out hunting and didn't pack anything to eat, thought, "I'll just eat what I kill," and was out there for days and didn't, and he truly might have been about to die.
Well, you know, even so, I would say there's a scripture in the New Testament. Isn't there something that talks about how let us not be like Jacob, who for one bowl of soup sold his birthright? I think it's in Hebrews. So I wonder if he really did do it because he was not about to die really, but like you said, it was a figure of speech. But even so, I guess it wouldn't matter, because if you sell, in the context of what Hebrews was saying, I think it was Hebrews at least, it was more so about giving up your soul for
The things
of the world.
Yeah, and I mean that.
So I guess it wouldn't matter if he was about to die.
Right, that one makes sense more than. But okay, if at this point Esau has not had children, so you know Isaac's possessions and Isaac's the rights that come with being the firstborn wouldn't transfer to his children because they don't exist. The birthright would be going to to Jacob anyway, because Esau's about to die if he doesn't eat right now. I don't know. I mean, I've never caught that line of "I'm about to die," and you know, we learn from a young age that Esau is foolish in giving up his birthright. But if that "I'm about to die" is a literal, he's going to die.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's some wisdom in that it was foolish to do so. So maybe even if it was, he shouldn't have given up his birthright. But then, is that saying that it's right to die rather than give up your birthright? Or is that story in there specifically to look forward to what's talking about in Hebrews,
right? Where
you know the birthright is something more than just what's referred to here in Genesis.
Yeah.
Is that the purpose of this story?
Oh, but you know what? I think I made a mistake. It says Jacob made the stew. So it was saying do not be like Esau. I said do not be like Jacob, but it was actually saying do not be like Esau.
Yeah. I assumed that you were just
Yeah. But it's something to think about. Now there was a famine in the land, besides the previous famine in Abraham's time. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines in Gerar. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and will give them all these lands, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I required of him, keeping my commands, my decrees, and my instructions." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. When the men of that place asked him about his wife, here it is again.
Yep.
He said, "She is my sister."
And this is the same. This is Abimelech.
Yeah.
Like this is where the second place that Abraham tried this trick.
Wow.
And it didn't work for him in Egypt. It didn't work for him in Gerar. Let's see how it works for Isaac.
I'm just wondering if Abimelech is he gonna like.
Well, I don't know if Abimelech is the one who's going to try and marry Rebecca or what, but it's like Abimelech's got to be ancient at this point because I mean, yeah.
I can imagine after this one, at least he's rolling his eyes like this is the third time it's happened with this family. Where was I? I was in 7. Okay. When the men of that place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," because he was afraid to say, "She is my wife." He thought, "The men of this place might kill me on account of Rebekah, because she is beautiful." When Isaac had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked down from a window and saw Isaac caressing his wife Rebekah. So Abimelech summoned Isaac and said, "She is really your wife. Why did you say she is my sister?" Isaac answered him, "Because I thought I might lose my life on account of her." Can I want to say one thing too. It's interesting, like how things pass down. I wonder if it's one of those things people call a generational thing, or if it's something where it passes down because maybe Isaac's father Abraham told him about it. He just had it in the back of his mind or something.
Well, and I also wonder if, seeing as both Abraham and Isaac did this, if this is a common thing. Because, okay, so both of them are afraid that because they have a beautiful wife, when they go into a city, they might be killed as a result of this. So was this something that was common if there was a man with a beautiful wife and he was a foreigner? Now, if he's of the people, like we talked about earlier with Cain, when he gets cast away and he has to go to the foreign lands and he's afraid they're going to kill him.
Right.
Is this just a case of a common practice among the people of that time that if you were a foreigner, you were already kind of looked at like, I don't know about this guy. Maybe we should jump him and steal his stuff and hurt him.
Right.
But then if also you've brought a beautiful woman into this city with you, and you and she are both of foreign stock, what if we kill the man? And then the woman, she's going to just kind of be stuck here, and then she can marry someone from our civilization, and thereby her children will be raised in our civilization by a man of our civilization. So we're not going to have this foreign influence. But I mean, whereas if a single man moves in and has a sister, then you're going to be dealing with this man, trying to convince him to let you marry the sister because he's going to have the right of choosing. So I don't know. That's
maybe like an ancient.
It seems like something that must be a thing that happens.
Well, not tradition, but
an ancient problem.
Ancient practice. Yeah.
It must be something that happens if both Abraham and Isaac are afraid of it. Unless Abraham was just paranoid about this and he was the only one, and he told his son, "Hey, just be sure Rebecca's beautiful." So, I don't know.
I don't know. Then Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the men might well have slept with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech gave orders to all the people. "Anyone who harms this man or his wife shall surely be put to death."
It's interesting. Go ahead. No,
I was actually thinking when I read this, I wonder if he remembers what happened, where the Lord had
How
put
could
the
he
plague on
forgot?
on his household before.
It is
when he-
it is interesting. Like, does he know that Isaac is Abraham's son? Does he know that this is the son of the guy who tried this before? Or, and here's the other thing, is this a common practice? And so, when he comes in and he's like, oh, another one of these guys, this happened last year, and this happened 4 years ago, and 7 years ago, and 50 years ago, that Abraham fellow. But is Abraham and Isaac, as far as this, just another Tuesday for Abimelech, because this happens all the time with foreigners coming into the city? I don't know. But no, what I was thinking of is, you see all of these, and granted, this is being told from at this point, a Jewish perspective. But you hear all these people who are trying to, regularize non-monogamous relationships.
Yeah.
Talk about how, well, that's a Western concept, or a whatever
Right.
they want. But, this is not just a Judeo-Christian thing. Marriage between one man and one woman is happening in the Bible in the foreign people, among the foreign peoples. And
among what they would consider pagans back then.
yeah. And I mean, it exists in so many other places, in so many other civilizations around the world. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think it's one of those things where I think those who are arguing for polygamy?
Yeah.
Those kind of things, saying that's saying that monogamy is not in the old times. I feel like it's more of an excuse, honestly.
I think so.
Just it's kind of reminds me of where it says in Romans 1, I believe it's Romans 1, that it says that the Lord shows us we have no excuse. We're without excuse. It's because we all have our consciences in us. And so it's like an excuse, I think, for that. All right. Where was I? 10. I keep getting so lost in so many scriptures. So Abimelech gave orders to all the people. Anyone who harms this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Isaac planted crops in that land, and the same year reaped 100-fold, because the Lord blessed him. The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. He had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Move away from us. You have become too powerful for us." So Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar, where he settled. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug in the valley and discovered a well of fresh water there, but the herders of Gerar quarreled with those of Isaac and said, "The water is ours." So he named the well Esek, because they disputed with him. Then they dug another well, but they quarreled over that one also. So he named it Sitna. I'm going to see what these actually mean.
Yeah. So let's see. Here's Esek. Is dispute. Okay. And Sitna is opposition.
So it became just a random dispute to just them wanting to seize. He moved on from there and dug another well, and no one quarreled over it. He named it Rehoboth, saying, "Now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land."
And Rehoboth means room. Okay.
From there he went up to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." Isaac built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. There he pitched his tent, and there his servants dug a well.
And again, here we go. We got he built an altar to the Lord and called him the Lord. This digging wells, it's interesting how prevalent this is because and it makes sense to a certain extent because I have to assume what's happening here is the digging of a well is an arduous task. Mm. It doesn't just happen overnight. It requires a lot of work, a lot of people working together to do it. And it indicates that you intend to be here for a long time. So, taking this time to build these wells and then to reopen these wells and they give the wells names, that's interesting that, and I know wells, there's the woman at the well that Jesus encounters, of course, but wells they play a huge part in life in general because you got to have drinking water. Yeah. But I know
what you mean. It's back in that world. Mm-hmm. They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you, so we said..." Oh wait, did I read down further?
No, we're there.
Oh, meanwhile, Abimelech had come to him from Gerar with Ahazeth, his personal advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his forces. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, since you were hostile to me and sent me away?" They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So we said, there ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty with you that you will do us no harm, just as we did not harm you, but always treated you well and sent you away peacefully. And now you are blessed by the Lord."
This is another thing we see again. The people of this land are reverent or fearful or something toward the Lord. This is Abimelech. He's a Philistine, and he comes and he says, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you, so we should make an agreement with you, and now you are blessed by the Lord." They clearly know that God is God and is powerful and is mighty, and but at the same time, I wonder if the Philistines of this time, obviously later on they're going to worship other gods. I wonder if the Philistines of this time are actually worshiping the Lord, or if they're worshiping something else and simply respecting that, they've seen that God has power. I don't know.
I don't know. It is hard to. It's a lot to consider because I think that a lot of them, this is what I used to always believe, is that when God came in the beginning, obviously he created them and they all came from knowing that there was a God originally. But this was so early on. Maybe there are still habits from from the first families that were built. Yeah. And it there's little segues, the segments of
Well, yeah, because all these men are descended from Noah. Every single one of them is a descendant of Noah. So, if you think about it that way, the Philistines are the Canaanites, so they're a descendant of Ham. And I don't know how many generations it is from Noah to Isaac. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. How many generations from Noah to Abraham? 10 generations from Noah to Abraham. Okay. So it's Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Ru, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and then Abraham. That's 11 then to Isaac. So it's 11 generations back. Granted, I don't know anything about my 11 generations back grandfather, but this is a group of people who pretty meticulously recorded their histories. Yeah. And there just aren't that many people around. So, they're like Abimelech's, let's say he's older, so 9 generations back grandfather is Noah.
Right.
You can change your religion within a single generation, so it's not like that. But I don't know. Surely, he's heard stories about great grandpa Noah.
Yeah.
And how the flood happened, and so yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, it's I always have trouble with I look back at it and I feel like I always scroll so far. They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you." So I think I read that.
Yeah, we got to hear.
Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early the next morning, the men swore an oath to each other. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they went away peacefully. That day Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug. They said, "We found water." He called it Sheba, and to this day the name of the town has been Beersheba. I'm going to look and see what that says. It says, Sheba can mean oath or 7. Beersheba can mean well of the oath and well of 7. So I'm guessing, obviously,
Okay.
beer means well.
Oh, that makes sense. Then there are so many like places that are beer something.
Yeah.
Because like at the beginning it was like beer something Roy.
Right.
Beer Lahai
Yeah.
Roy. So that was another.
Somehow I remember that, but I can't remember most of the names in the Chronicles.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, cool. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beri the Hittite, and also Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. When Isaac was old and his eyes were so weak that he could no longer see, he called for Esau, his older son, and said to him, "My son." "Here I am," he answered. Isaac said, "I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death. Now then, get your equipment, your quiver and bow, and go out to the open country to hunt some wild game for me. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like, and bring it to me to eat, so that I might give you my blessing before I die." Now Rebekah was listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau left for the open country to hunt game and bring it back, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "Look, I overheard your father say to your brother Esau, 'Bring me some game and prepare me some tasty food to eat, so that I may give you my blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die.' Now, my son, listen carefully and do what I tell you. Go out to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, so I can prepare some tasty food for your father, just the way he likes it. Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies." Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "But my brother Esau is a hairy man, while I have smooth skin. What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him." I would appear to be tricking him? I would be tricking, like he is tricking him.
Yeah.
And again, has Rebekah told Jacob why she's allowing him that she got this message from the Lord before they were
Right.
born, or does Jacob know why they're tricking his father? I guess is my question. And again, does that make it okay?
Right.
Like, is it right that he's doing this trickery? I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing. His mother said to him, "My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me." So he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food, just the way his father liked it. Then Rebekah took the best clothes of Esau, her older son, which she had in the house, and put them on the younger son Jacob. She also covered his hands and the smooth part of his neck with the goat skins. Then she handed to her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. He went to his father and said, "My father." "Yes, my son," he answered. "Who is it?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." Isaac asked his son, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord your God gave me success," he replied. That's an interesting, is that blasphemy?
I would say it's very close to it.
Or is it not? Because he, God did say to Rebekah, your son, like, he's the one who gave him success.
Well, I would say even then, it's still the intent of Jacob would be to still kind of like pull the wool over his dad's eyes. So I don't know. I feel like I've always had trouble with this story because I feel like, you know, in the end, I believe Jacob, he gets the blessing, of course, but it's like even after all of the trickery and, you know, I don't know.
Well, but I mean, we know that from Rebekah's prayer to the Lord, and this is from the Lord, that Jacob is the one who is blessed, truly blessed by God, by his father. And so does that make it right then for his father to bless him, for his dad to bless him? Like, is that the right thing for Isaac to do? And if it is the case that yes, he is deceiving his father, he is, but yeah, I have a hard time saying is he deceiving him for God, because that doesn't seem right.
No.
But you know, David pretends to be a madman. He's deceiving people in doing that to save his own life. Like there are it seems sometimes when deception is maybe acceptable. I think
in that sense I know there's a couple of ways where that's okay, and it not that it's a good thing in general, but like when you, like, for instance, see a persecuted Christian, persecuted believer, and they're being told by, you know, your own government, do not feed them, do not help them. You're supposed to still help them, still feed them. So that's one way where you're not really tricking the government, I guess, in that sense, but you are kind of like, I don't know. I feel like there's certain times, but I don't think it's right in the large part of things.
But then, if the government then says, "Did you feed that Christian?" What are you supposed to say?
I think you're supposed to tell the truth.
Right. So you're not deceiving.
I guess
anybody.
you're not really.
You're breaking the law, because, like, generally speaking, you are supposed to follow the law unless the law itself is against God's law.
But I thought, yeah, I don't know. That just it's weird when I see this story. It's like it does make me feel like, oh well, I guess he's still blessed in the end. But after all of that,
yeah, this is a really challenging one. You know, I know it's interesting. I know that your stepdad puts up on his Facebook page quite often, like, you know, post your Bible questions here. Maybe I should put that on, like, just to hear his thoughts.
It's probably a good idea.
I mean, you know, I'm and if you're watching, you've got thoughts on this, like, put them in the comments. We want to know, because this is a story that I know I can't be alone in this. I struggle with. It doesn't seem like Jacob is a good guy. It seems like Jacob is doing the wrong thing here. But we know that God favors Jacob greatly. And, you know, Jacob is going to go on to do other things that, like, wrestle with God. And I don't know, just Jacob's an interesting fellow.
One thing I will say, though, is I did hear one preacher say this about Jacob. He said, the Lord showed his love for Jacob in that, in spite of the fact that, you know, Jacob did do deceitful things to his brother, the Lord, the preacher put it this way, the Lord beat up Jacob every day of his life to show him that he favored him. Because I guess it's like the discipline of the Lord shows you that you are the Lord's. I mean, it's going to keep you on the right path. And I don't think this part here counts as that, because obviously it's trickery, but I think he's talking about in the future when Jacob is like,
well, yeah, but I mean, he's going to have to go into exile now because he's afraid of what Esau's going to do to him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even right now, he's going to
Yeah.
he's going to get a punishment for this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's really it's tough. This is a tough story.
Yeah.
But the other thing, but like we started on this because the Lord your God gave me success, he replied, and we're asking, is that blasphemy? But at the same time, like he just asked, how did you find it so quickly? Well, who is the reason that Jacob's flocks and goats are doing so well? The Lord. Mm-hmm. So the Lord did give him success in raising the goat. Like he doesn't lie, but he is clearly attempting to be deceptive.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come near so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not." You can tell Isaac didn't believe this. And, it makes sense. Jacob he's living at home. He's going outside to do, goat herding every now and then, but he's cooking stew. So he's going to smell like spices. He's going to smell like goats. Meanwhile, Esau is a hunter. He's out there. Esau's going to smell like leather and blood and sweat. The smell alone, especially if, I don't know if it actually says, but clearly Isaac is blind at this point. Otherwise, there's no reason why any of this could ever have happened. So, they say, and I've never been blind, and, God willing, I never will be, but they say that those who lose a sense, their other senses begin to compensate. So you would think Isaac has a really good sense of smell right now, and a really good sense of hearing. Right. And, some brothers sound a whole lot alike, and they're twins. So, there's that, but it seems like they're fraternal twins. Because, Esau comes out hairy and red, and Jacob comes out not hairy and presumably not red. Right. So, they don't seem to be the identical twins. But their voices would be different, I would think, at least somewhat different. And so, Isaac has heard his two sons' voices all their lives. And he smells the smell. And so he's got to be thinking, this is not Esau. Doesn't smell like Esau. Doesn't sound like Esau. I can't see. Taste is not going to be of any use, so I'm going to feel. And that's going to be the thing that makes him, sure. I guess maybe, I'll take one thing back. The smell. Because Rebecca does specifically go and get some of Esau's clothes and stick them on him.
So it might have actually smelled that hunting.
And I would think that the voice is probably the one that's most likely to be similar, because they're going to have the same accent. I mean, they're going to have a lot of similarities between. Some people's voices are totally different between brothers, and some are like, you're on the phone with them and you're like, I don't know which brother this is. Or, Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob." Okay, so he does. But the hands are the hands of Esau. He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy, like those of his brother Esau. So he proceeded to bless him. "Are you really my son Esau?" he asked. "I am," he replied. Then he said, "My son, bring me some of your game to eat, so that I may give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him, and he ate. And he brought some wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, okay, so it does that talk about smell, he blessed him and said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. Many nations serve you, and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." After Isaac finished blessing him, and Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, "My father, please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." His father Isaac asked him, "Who are you?" "I am your son," he answered, "your firstborn Esau." Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came, and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry and said to his father, "Bless me too, my father." But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing."
See, when I read that, the part of me, I don't understand how in my flesh it's like, how can that be fair? Because you're thinking to yourself, like, well, can't the blessing be like returned somehow, like, or given to the other brother because of the fact that it was, why does it have to stay on Jacob if he did it deceitfully and he found out afterwards? That's what I don't understand.
And I mean, he sort of addresses this when he says, and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed. Like, you gave your but you specifically gave your blessing to Esau. Mm-hmm. And I almost wonder if, like, what if Isaac had thought about this and said, "Esau, I hereby give you." Well, let's actually use the real words that he says. What if he had said, "The smell of my son is like the smell of a field the Lord has blessed. May God give you, Esau, heaven's dew and earth's richness, and abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you, Esau, and peoples bow down to you, Esau. Be lord over your brothers, Esau, including Jacob, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you, including Jacob." Like, if he had added in those qualifiers, then would it still have counted as a blessing upon Jacob? Even if he had just said once Esau, like if he had just made a point of, "I am speaking to Esau as I say this," as opposed to just using the word "you."
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't understand how, unless the story is more so, I mean, but it still happened. I was gonna say, if it's more so meant to show that we can sometimes lose our blessings by the way we live or something like that. But even so, this still happens.
Yeah, but then we can gain our blessings by deception? Like,
yeah, I don't understand. This is another thing. If anybody who's listening right now understands more about this story and you want to comment, please feel free to, because we're just curious. We want to know, and
yeah, the whole purpose of this study when we first started it was just to dig deeper into the Bible and to read it together so that we could, hopefully on some of these topics where we're not quite sure, come to let's see. And I think we have done that like quite a few times. We've already discussed, oh, well, I think I get that. Let me talk. And like you've shown me some things and I've shown you some things.
Yes.
But this one's hard. This one's really hard. And I don't know what to make of this story and how a deceptive blessing not only is still is in fact enforced, but goes on to be one of the key blessings ever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't hear about the Edomites, but the Israelites.
Yeah.
That's a much more important. Yeah.
Well, let's continue, and hopefully, we'll figure out the answer soon, because that is something I'm curious about. Esau said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob?" This is the second.
I think we.
Oh yeah, I think we read.
I don't think I read that.
Oh no, but he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing." Esau said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing." Then he asked, "Haven't you reserved any blessing for me?"
When it says Jacob, doesn't Jacob mean something like?
I think it's he who
Jacob
grasps
means
the
he
heel.
grasps the heel, and Hebrew idiom for he takes advantage over, he deceives. So like he's even named he's named deceiver. That's so hard to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
Like when we think of like the deceiver in who are we talking about?
Yeah. Think about the enemy.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's so hard to figure out. Like Jacob confuses me. The whole story of Jacob is so difficult to figure out.
yeah.
You know, when we read the little like children's Bible at night, it's so much easier in that one.
You have the whole context of all of this. Isaac answered Esau, I have made him lord over you, and have made all his relatives his servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son? Esau said to his father, Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father. Then Esau wept aloud. His father Isaac answered him. I just had a thought come to me. Maybe this is just, even though it really did happen, so it's kind of confusing as to why it was allowed to go that way. What if this really is just a story that's used to show, you're not supposed to give up your, like, in Esau's sense, your soul for the world, because I wonder if this was almost a curse on Esau because of what happened before. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if
well, but even in the womb, you know,
you're right.
God says to Rebekah, you got two sons here. One of them, Jacob, the younger, is going to be served by the older, by Esau. So, like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways
Esau hadn't done anything.
Around it.
And Esau had done nothing at that point. Like,
Yeah.
he was not guilty of anything. He was an unborn child. But like, you know, and again, this is, I guess maybe it's just to show you that the Lord is going to have mercy on who he has mercy on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he's going,
compassion on those who have compassion.
Yes, and he chose, despite his deceptive nature. But you know what? That's another thing. Okay, maybe this is our answer. As we're talking this through, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I'm deceptive. You're deceptive. Everybody in the world is deceptive. Every one of us lies. Okay, some of our lies are big, some of them are small, but they're all lies. They're all deceptions. And yet, even though we are deceivers and we do other bad stuff, God chose us.
I see.
God chose to bless us. Even though, and you know, then there may be somebody else who, well, no, there's nobody who doesn't do anything wrong, but there may be somebody else who, when we just at a glance look at them, it's like Esau. And Esau didn't do much. I mean, Esau gave up his birthright to save his life. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, we don't really see Esau. Esau's a hard worker. He goes out and does. But we look at two people and say, well, you know, this guy murdered someone. And while he was in prison, he found the Lord, and now he's changed. And yet this other person who, by worldly standards, has never done anything nearly that bad. But the Lord just didn't choose him. And he's not a Christian, he's a Muslim, or he's a Hindu or whatever, and you know, he is who he is. And even though when the world looks at him, they're like, this is a fine, upstanding citizen. He's got 2 kids and a wife, and everything is groovy, and with his life from the outside, God didn't choose him. God chose the murderer.
Right.
And maybe that's the reason behind this, is to show us and remind us that God chooses who's going to choose, and
it's not up to us
to say
question.
Yeah, but Esau seems like a nice guy. God, why? It's like because I did.
I think there's
there's that phrase that we always go back to when we listen to like a Paul Washer sermon. He's like, I love you because I love you.
Yes, that's
like
it's the Lord saying, there's nothing you can do to take away my love, and there's nothing you can do to make me love you more. I just love you because I've placed my love upon you.
Yeah,
and that's beautiful.
It is.
All right, let's
continue
on.
Maybe we cracked the code.
You probably did. His father answered him, "Your dwelling." Well, I'll read one up.
Yeah, you read
Esau
that.
said I did. His father Isaac answered him, "Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke off your neck." Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." When Rebekah was told what her older son Esau had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, "Your brother Esau is planning to avenge himself by killing you. Now then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day?" Then Rebekah said to Isaac, "I'm disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, from Hittite women like these, my life will not be worth living."
And the Hittite women are Esau's wives, because he married 2 Hittite women. We're moving on to Genesis 28, and this is only 1 through 5, and that's the end of our study for today. So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him. Then he commanded him, "Do not marry a Canaanite woman. Go at once to Paddan Aram, to the house of your mother's father Bethuel. Take a wife for yourself there, from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of mighty peoples. May he give you and your descendants the blessing given to Abraham, so that you may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God gave to Abraham." Then Isaac sent Jacob on his way, and he went to Paddan Aram, to Laban son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, who was the mother of Jacob and Esau. I'm really hopeful that no pressure, but I'm really hopeful that somebody does make some comment about Jacob, because I'm so curious. It's such a hard story it's just such a hard story.
Yeah. And I think I think we might have actually cracked a little bit of the code, because it feels like, I don't know, just thinking about the scripture that says, "I will have," is it mercy on whom I will have mercy, and then compassion on whom I will have compassion, or something like that.
I forget.
I forget the whole thing, but it kind of reminds me of that, and it kind of hit me in a different way when you talked about that, and it's in a good way. So I think maybe that's what it is. But if you have any, for the listeners, if you have any comments, just put them below and let us know what you think. And
you know what's going to happen, right?
What?
So I know for me, when I'm on YouTube, I'll sit there and I'll just the next up video, and I'm like, this is some weird thing from 15 years ago, and I'll click on it, okay, this is kind of cool, whatever. In 12 years, we're going to get a comment on this.
In 12 years, we're going to get
I don't know why YouTube suggested this. The algorithm is kind of weird, but here's what I thought about this.
There's been so many times I've seen a video from it says 8 years ago or 10 years ago, and it's just recommended all of a sudden. And, yeah. Well,
they're always the best videos too.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just getting silly now, so I guess it's about time to end this. But we thank you all for listening, for watching, and Have a blessed rest of your day or night.
God bless you.